Right. So today's targets, I think, should be clean this up. So I think I'll take these out. This should be done. And then this one, the cops arrest fails quest during shootout, and also triggers respawn. And then for that, I'm gonna need the spy, but I'm gonna make some notes still. So the quest still needs the spawning logic, so pre-requirements and random spawn intervals. So I don't think it's gonna be an hour pass function, maybe, but I still want it to be kind of prevalent during the end game, so that like every single week, at least once, the player would encounter the quest. So maybe something like days since quest, something like that, but more descriptive. And then maybe to that like linear growth of chance. That should make it like more prevalent towards the end of the 7-day cycle. So then after that, the quest itself should be like pretty much done. This needs to be probably saved, so it needs persistence, so that needs some configuration stuff. Then I saw something here related to logging. So these messages, for example, I want those to be so clean up code, search for melon logger warnings and messages, and remove if not necessary. And this should decrease the mod file size. It doesn't really do that much, but you know, these warning messages, those are pretty much like useless for the release version of the build, so it saves space from the file size, and that's always a bonus. And then I want to do some testing with the new quest, so I know this is gonna break the quest and there's gonna be a bug with it, but I still want to test what happens. So test driving a car so that the top car never arrives. So that's gonna do a couple of bugs for me, but I still want to see what happens to be like sure on the second wave ambush. So I think that's a good start. So that's gonna take a couple of hours, maybe if not more. But that's gonna be basically the agenda for now. I'm gonna see for this one. There's a way for me to do that easily. I think there should be like a on arrested fallback for the player. There is, so it's a Unity event. So I guess the second that the quest starts, the player must not get arrested, or else the quest will fail. I think that's the way to go with it. Yeah. So I wanted to do it after the quest is initialized, though. I need that still. So I'll add it here. Player must not get arrested during quest. Player that local. And then it has the Unity event on arrested. And then we're gonna add a listener. Before I do that, I'm gonna say what happens when the player gets arrested. Something like Unity event dot Unity action. No. I don't remember what it is. Because I cannot do this. This dot fail. Like, this doesn't suffice. So I don't remember what it is. I'm gonna check it here. Unity engine.events.unity action. Of course it is that. Cannot convert type void, so it's supposed to be like this, right? Type of method. Like what? Oh, yeah, I need to define the function, I guess. Otherwise, IL2CPP is gonna complain about it, and it's not gonna work. So void on player arrested. Like this. Now the quest should fail if the player gets arrested, but also I need to ensure that whenever this listener runs, you know, it has to be only once and it has to be removed. So within this, I need a remove listener. So usually I do it like this. So declare it here and then, you know, remove it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Then if player arrested is not null, I will remove the listener. Not all, remove listener. And then this one. And then set the value to null. So I don't need it anymore. Can be picked up by the garbage collector. And here I need I think that should do it. So when the player gets arrested, the quest fails, and then the listener gets removed, so it runs only once. But then here, I probably need to make sure that I don't want to call this.fail if the quest is not active, so I'll start with that. If this.state equals is not equest state active, I'll return. That makes sense. And what else? If yeah, I don't see any other thing here. He's gonna despawn everything eventually. Right. Okay, so that's done. Done. Then the spawning logic. So back to that. That's what I did for the last 40 minutes yesterday, I think. Trying to figure that out. So it's gonna be in the allied extensions. True. Where is that? Here. I'm gonna already add here. Yeah, I'm gonna add here the hour pass function thing. So on hour pass evaluate quest. So that's gonna be the function that is gonna be written next. But this will just invoke the function every single hour. This now it works in mono and in IL2CPP both. Now every single hour, what do I want to do? The spawning logic. I need to go here. If the pre-requirements aren't met, then return, and the player must be outside actively. I think there should also be a time limit, so the encounter should not spawn in the mornings, let's say from 7 to 10 a.m. And then it should also not spawn at night time from like midnight to 4 a.m. I think those are the limits. So, or actually just take like 4 hours from each. So it goes from 11 a.m. to like 12 p.m. And I should have code for this already, so I'm gonna copy paste it. Here. From 11 a.m. or 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. I think that's reasonable. But then again, this is gonna evaluate once an hour, the hour passes. And if the player isn't outside during the hour pass, then it's gonna like narrow down the probability of encountering the. But I guess it's fine. I'll have to test this and see how it works. Like, is it prevalent enough? So how do I do the 12 p.m. so it can be or 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Maybe like that for convenience. And then in time window for Brew Brothers quest. It's a long variable name. I don't mind it. I think it's good. I should say in time window. It's too long. Here we go. Now it can fit back on the screen. And then I guess here, since I'm evaluating it every hour, it would be reasonable for me to run this first, because there's gonna be more times where this function can return early based just on the time window. So if not in time window, return. And that allows me to kind of pass most of the calculation that goes on here. If it's unnecessary, I don't have to check these, and then especially these ones, so I don't have to iterate over the regions and the customers. So again, that's like it's better for the performance, and I guess also maybe this one. So then all I need to do is run this. and this still needs a little bit of work because I want to check if through brothers completed. So I don't want to basically during the same game session do it twice, because it's not a replayable event in the same session in the same sense that the allied supplies is. I could do it like that, but it's gonna take a whole lot of more work, so I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna say that the player has to basically exit the game and then reload the game or reload the save to play again. So play one time per session only. And then also for times where the quest is not active. So I'm gonna say only when not active. So if active Three Brothers quest is not null, then a return. Because then I know that this object has been filled with something. And then for this quest, I want to ensure that the player has to encounter it during a normal playthrough. Or with the mod normal playthrough, I mean, because in vanilla it doesn't exist. So how I'm gonna achieve that is I'm gonna make a configuration value that's gonna track the days that are that have passed since the quest has been activated. So I'm gonna change this one a little bit because I want it to be a little bit different. So I'm going to need so it doesn't track the days passed up until the pre-requirements are met. So the days passed since the quest has been basically available, but not given the player, and the player must have also I mean, I don't think there needs to be an accept, or what if the player is like running on the street and they don't notice the goon, and then it kind of despawns the goon eventually, and they never get to encounter it, and then there's gonna be another like 7 days delay until they 7 in-game days delay until they encounter it next. So it's gonna be like a 3-hour wait. I don't think that's reasonable. I don't think that's reasonable. So well, I'm gonna formulate the function here. I'm gonna define it here. So public static void on days on day pass increment. Or do I have day pass functions here that I can bind it to? I should have something. Nothing here, so I guess public static void on day pass increase encounter chance. So something like here. So I truly only need these ones. So Rada Pirelli in the chat asks, wait, I'm sorry, I didn't pay much attention. What happens if you get arrested now? You fail the quest. The quest fails. Yeah, and then North Korea is gonna send a lot of nukes and destroy Highland Point. Yeah, that's what happens. Everything blows up. So on day pass increase encounter chance. But for this, I need persistence. And for that, I need to open a little bit of a different file. Where is it? Where is the code file? Here. Allied quests. This should be already usable. So allied intro completed. This is tracking the intro quest times persuaded. Yeah, that tracks the cartel dealer persuasion mechanic. Hours until next supplies. That tracks the supply mission, and then I'm gonna add here public integer days passed since encounter. Right up Riley asks, so failing equals quest cancelled. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. And then if that happens, you gotta wait like 7 more days in the game to see the goon again. But it's all based on chance, so sometimes you might see them 3 times a week or 2 times a week asking you for help at the end game. But it really varies, so it's about chance and luck. Days passed since encounter is 0, so I think I want to bind this to the on sleep function instead. So, and that is because That is because I don't want to write the config file accidentally. If the day passes at the same second or the frame or whatever that the mod is trying to write down the config file. So by doing the on sleep end, I'm basically preventing the player from saving while incrementing the config values. So first the config gets saved from the previous day, and then the sleep end increments the values in the config. So the next time the player sleeps, it's gonna update. A rather proud says, I read the Thomas message after beating the completing True Brothers. He talks about laundering. Are you adding laundering in True's Cartel soon? I mean, I hope that will be the next feature. I've been thinking about how it will work. I haven't really decided on it yet. Because again, I wanted to add content to the game. I don't want it to be like, okay, well, here's a computer for you. Launder money here, and then have it like have it be a better laundering station somehow. So I don't know how it will work, but yes, it will be like it was the feature was asked basically. It was recommended to me. So I just want it to be a part of this mission somehow. So this mission will unlock that feature. But that feature doesn't exist yet. But you know, I'm thinking ahead of myself always. Always one step ahead. So on sleep end. On sleep end. Allied config. No. Allied quests. And then here, days passed since encounter. Increment that one. And then yeah, that should do it. Now I just need to put it into the on sleep end function. So I'll copy some code over here. Here. No, here. I can use. I can actually log it here, so it's gonna be helpful for debugging later, so that I can kind of see how much the function gets ran, maybe. Or maybe after the so I'm gonna say float chance equals Unity engine random range from 0 to 1. and then I'm gonna say if the chance or float threshold equals, and this is gonna be the part that handles the 7-day cycle. So I'm gonna linearly interpolate between at A, when t is 0, it's A, so the boundary must be high. So I'm gonna say that there's maybe a 5% chance hourly, or 2% chance hourly, and then that interpolates towards what? At the end of the 7-day cycle, hourly, there is a 30% chance, let's say like that, but it runs hourly, so I gotta still keep it quite high because of how you know, because of how the math works. So as a t, I'm gonna use the math clamp function, and then the value is going to be allied quests, and then days passed since encounter, and then I'm gonna divide that by 7, and probably also use cast here because it's an integer. The minimum value is going to be 0, and the maximum value is going to be 7. Oh, wait, no, 1. So I can just use math clamp 1 basically. 1. And then if chance is higher than threshold, then if the chance is smaller than threshold, return. And because this still has the probability, this doesn't have a timeout of 1 hour, I believe. Yeah, it has a timeout of 2 hours basically. So I think I want to decrease that. So it's gonna be 60. So it's gonna be 1 hour. But still I'm gonna have a problem with it. So Or no, yeah, I don't need that. And then if the combat behavior exists, I guess I gotta disable it. If the active behavior equals to the combat behavior, so and also this must not be null. So that should do it. But I'm still gonna add a new boolean value. That's gonna be public static boolean encounter active. So this is gonna be a flag that's gonna tell me whenever the encounter goon has been spawned, but the quest hasn't been accepted, basically. So and I can handle that this value here. So basically, whenever the goon gets spawned, encounter active. True. And then on despawn, encounter active is false. And also, I should probably disable it whenever I'm setting the quest up. So if encounter active, false. And also within here. So now I can go back to here, somewhere, where? Here. Only when the only when the goon is not already active. So if encounter active, return. It's gonna make sure that I only have one goon active, trying to get the player to conversate with them and give the mission. And then this one, whenever the player accepts the quest, I want to set this back to 0. Reset the value on accept, but to combat the problem where, you know, it just resets it all the time, I'm gonna set the refusal of the quest to decrease the days passed by, let's say, 2. So it decreases the chance for the spawn. It decreases it. So it's gonna take a little bit longer then. But if the goon never reaches the player, or no, I should probably do it here. I should do it here. So if oh wait, also I have to get rid of, no, the greeting is getting removed. Yeah, no, nothing. No, it's not getting removed. On the timeout, it's not getting removed, so I have to do this. It's only if the player is conversated, right? So if player was not conversated, remove the greeting and choices. Same thing right here. And I guess it makes sense that I do this. Right. Now the days past stuff. So the player never really talked to the goon. So I guess here I'll just decrease it. So allied config quest days passed since encounter, and then I'm gonna say that it's a match clamp I'm gonna decrease it by 2. Decrease the chance to encounter, but not reset the value, since player never saw interacted with You see. Then I guess here it will be zeroed. So whenever the player accepts or refuses, it still gets reset to 0. And if the player was in combat, I guess it's all 0 also. And then because I'm writing a configuration value, then I have to also do this. If not is saving. So I want to make sure that I'm not actually actively writing this value into the disk. That should do it. So now there's a 7-day cycle that handles the chance. And that will be done. Then before I do this quest testing, so I'm gonna try to break the quest, I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning up, so this is next. So basically anything related to the configuration values should be logged with warnings and errors. Nothing else. Everything else should be just debug. So here, yeah, I think the drive-by must be the only one. So this is supposed to be log. Same with this one. And these never even up here, basically. But it's good to have it. Yeah, that's good. I think there's a lot of like unnecessary stuff going on here, so like this try catch block, I don't need a try catch there, and I could also, you know what, I'm gonna do it right away because I don't like the way that code looks, so I'm gonna get rid of basically the entire large block. There's gonna be only one. So if the current weapon is null, I'm gonna say that if mono, else, and if. I'll do the IL2 CP first. So I basically need to have common avatar melee weapon, or weapon, and that's gonna be null. And then the weapon is going to be this. And then for mono, fucking AI recommendations, god damn it, I don't want it. Weapon is going to be this as avatar melee weapon. So the casting now works like that. And then basically all that I need to do is the values are different between the backends. So I guess I'll keep the mono backend ones. I trust that is correct. And then here, if weapon is not null, then we do this. So that way I get rid of a lot of unnecessary code. Riled Up Rally in the chat asks, you should make the weapons pump shotgun also. Do you like my laundering idea? Maybe I'll add like a chance to give the new quest, you know, enemies maybe pump shotguns. I'll add maybe it. And then the laundering idea. So you say that Thomas sends a message saying, drop cash into my black van at night parked near the church. Add some cash and one new mix. See me tomorrow and I'll meet you at Taco Tickler parking lot. He will go to the parking lot of Taco Tickler and give you half of your cash as balance. I mean, the concept for doing that, it sounds good. So having like a black van somewhere where the player drops the money or the cash into. I mean, that might do it. That might do it. Because originally the problem was that if it's only the mailbox at the manor, there's only like 5 slots, so the player can launder a maximum of 5,000 through that. So I didn't like it. So I guess I'll add it here. I'll add extensions somewhere here. Right. Now I'm still gonna fix the other place where, so right here. Again, I can get rid of like unnecessary code here. and that's gonna be a ranged weapon instead. So now I can get rid of these ones. And then here I'm gonna say if the weapon, so if the cast result is successful, just like that. So that gets rid of a lot of unnecessary code overhead code, and makes it easier to read. So now that is done, so it should be done. And now it's time to do some testing with the new quest. So I'm gonna buy a car and then I'm gonna try driving it on the road so that the second wave of police, they won't be able to drive their car to the place. And I'm gonna see what happens. I pretty much already know that it's gonna bug out and nothing happens. And the quest won't proceed, basically. So I'll have to figure out, maybe I'll have to do like a timeout function, you know, check that out. The police have arrived within a certain time frame. And if not, then they will exit the car and travel to the place on foot. Or the rest of the way. Is there anything else I want to test right away? Well, I guess since I added the arresting thing, so test getting arrested during the quest. So this should result in fail. And it despawn everything. Before I do that, I gotta go and update one of my config files. That is the quest data file. Because it has to be like the allied extensions, this one. Days passed since encounter that is 0. I'm gonna set it to 5 just to see. Are there any other edge cases here? how can I break the quest in a way that, you know, normal people playing the mod would do it. Um, so if the starting NPC gets killed, that should be handled. If you go into combat with it, that should be handled. Get arrested or killed during the quest, that should also be handled. What about... I don't know. I can't really think of anything else. Like after these two, I think everything should be covered, like all the edge cases that I can think of. But again, testing might result in more you know, edge cases that I need to fix. And then I think this hasn't still been fixed, so that's also today. That's also today later. I think those are done. And then I don't think this is a... Well, you know, I hope that it's solved, so I'm gonna delete it. I mean, that's a bug, you know. I never saw the... I don't know where it spawned. I think the goon spawned inside of somewhere. Inside of some building or something, and they couldn't travel to me. Why? So, I think that's a bug. I'll try again. Well, now it worked. No, I'm gonna drive this car, like maybe here. And then I'm gonna go and buy another car. I really want to make sure that the cop car won't be arriving to there. Oh no, don't hit the cops. Something like that. Oh my goodness. What the fuck? That's good. So now I'm gonna move that cocaine. Okay. Well, I see you. And these guys are they stuck? I think they're stuck. So yeah, because I didn't get any second wave spawning messages. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, it just took a little bit. And then I'm getting bugs again. And then the mission basically never completes. Yeah, the mission never completes because there's still one officer here. Inside of this car. So... how do I fix this? So I think here I need to log the navigation result so that I can see maybe I could fix it with that, or because I don't think I had a navigation complete message there at all, or yeah, so this never invoked. And so this never also got set to 0. And this never like ran, so they didn't come out of the car. So what I need to do is do I need to use navigation settings? Nope. Well, the drive-by function or the event should have something similar to that. So or not. It kind of suffers from the same problem, honestly. So I'm gonna note here, or wait until travel time out. So in case car navigation fails or gets blocked. So then I have to change this yield return function to be a loop, and I have to define for it a maximum navigation time, and that's gonna be I'll say 30 seconds. That's like the most I've seen it go. And then also current navigation time, and that's 0. And then in the for loop I increment current navigation time by 1 second. So here, if has arrived, or the current navigation time is larger than or equal to max navigation time, then break out of the for loop. And also, I think I want to make sure that the navigation callback will not be consumed. So if registered and if not registered or has arrived, return. So now, since I have this shared boolean value here, I can also do this. So here equals true. And if has arrived, break. So that's going to prevent it from running infinitely, and that is also going to make sure that the navigation callback won't be running any of its functions anymore. And I guess for good convenience, I should also do this. So something like that. And also, now since I saw that, that there's still a bug related to the encounter, I probably want to know where the goon is during traverse. So I'm gonna log it here. So goon position is gonna be so the next time that I encounter such thing, then should work. Run it from the top again, try to reproduce some bugs. And I need to move the cars so that they are a little bit more upfront, so that whenever the car comes, that it won't just clip through the cars. Yeah, I mean, it still kind of works. Not too bad. I still want to test getting arrested, so I'm gonna run it up again. And then I gotta find a cop to arrest me, basically. Where is that cop? Where is that cop? Give me some cops. Here. Bam! God damn it. I was just gonna hit them. Yeah, fuck you. And then I failed the quest. Now, this should be gone within a reasonable time frame. Yep. So that kind of works too. So I think I'll try again and again. I'll try to, like, get some bugs. I'll probably try to block the cop car with 2 Vapors instead of 1. I really want to get the timeout to work, or to run the timeout for the cop car navigation. So I'm literally just gonna like drive 3 Vapors onto the street and see what happens. I really don't want the cops to reach me. Now I have it saved. So I guess I'm gonna try to do this again. But instead of just 1 car, I'm gonna put another one behind it. So here. Right. That makes a lot of sense. I'm just seeing that they just aren't really like attacking the player that much, so I think I need for the second wave to have the awareness enabled again, at least for some of them. And then the bug related to the like the question marker, the exclamation marker, that should be already done, so it don't matter. But the awareness disablement just allows them to, you know, just actively target the goons instead of just constantly trying to find the player and kill them. Or only them. So in the first wave, this ambush cop. This ambush cop targets the player, so I'm gonna say that this ambush cop has active awareness. Yeah, that should do it. So now there's always one cop that tries to target the player actively with the awareness. Right. And I couldn't really reproduce the first bug where it spawned somewhere inside of where it got stuck. But I know that it worked, and I know that the uh car arriving now works, the timeout works because it happened. It got stuck on the second van, which was exactly what I wanted. And they eventually they came out of the car and started fighting with the Benzies. But I guess I should adjust the repositioning behavior of the cops because now when they were behind the car, I think they were just like stationary and shooting instead of doing repositioning actively. So I'm gonna copy this code, and for the cops, where do I set the weapon for the cops? I don't remember. Here. No, here. But I guess since I'm doing asset-based avatar weapon stuff, I still need to instantiate the object instead of doing it like this. Otherwise it won't work. Oh. I don't know if the combat behavior has something for this. Time within attack range, time since repositioning. No, I probably need to do it like that. Mm. Well, this won't be easy. Because I should basically do the same for this, I believe. I think I did something alike here. Or no? Yeah, because this loads the resource path and then instantiates it. And then no, there's not really a way for me to kind of override it. I don't think there's really a way for me to consistently override it for them. And that is because the escalation logic overrides it, so it calls set weapon basically. Yeah, that is tough. But then again, it kind of also needs to happen after this one. So I'll just test it. I'll test it. I'm gonna say that can shoot while moving is true. Then also max moving shots before repositioning is 2, and then weapon.max stationary shots before reposition is 1. So they should be like moving after one shot. And then also I want to test something, and that is that these ones aren't overriding it basically. So I want to make sure that the cops have these values only. So I'm gonna set this one, the fire rate to be 1, and the cooldown duration to be 1. So what I should see is that the cops have machine guns and the cartel has normal weapons basically. And if that holds true, then I can delete these two. So I'm gonna test that. That's the next thing. I hope it works. There's a slight chance that it won't work because of how the objects and assets are handled. But I hope that the set equipable return function returns a fresh object and not the one that points to the asset. Because if it points to the asset, then every single pistol is going to be like buffed. And that's not what I want. And then actually, also, during the quest, if a police non-spawned targets player, then Cartel should attack them during the ambush. So that's one thing that I might also work on still. Because it feels weird that first is the ambush, and then if a cop walks behind the corner and then, you know, starts combat with me, then my Cartel buddies, they just stand there like nothing's happening while I'm getting shot at. It's not fair. I need backup from my brothers. I mean, it kind of worked, so I know that it should be fine if I do that. And I should probably also do this again after I spawn them out of the car, just in case. So, whenever the combat behavior gets re-enabled. Like this. Ralda probably asks, what's your favorite quest name? None. I don't think about quest names. The quest names don't matter to me at all. So what else? I mean, I think it's kind of like done in a way. I think it's kind of like done in a way for the quest. So Yeah, I think that's fine. So this was done now. This getting arrested. Yeah, this was done. Sometimes the encounter goon spawns incorrectly and never reaches player. This is still like can't reproduce again. But again, I have a timeout function that handles it, so still handled. So I'll mark it as done. During quest, if a police non-spawn targets player. So how can I do this? This is a little bit interesting. Can I access the or how do I know which cops are targeting actively the player outside of the spawned ones? And I don't really want to iterate through all of the spawned cops to be able to notice that. So I'll check the DN spy. So I have to look for the crime data. Okay, here. So I think if I log during the quest a certain variable, I'm gonna go into the mini pass function. I'm gonna need this. I'll just log it like outside of here. So test. I want to see how many pursuers does the player have throughout time. So log pursuers count. And because it's a list of police officers, I should be able to access them easily without iterating through the entire amount of police. And then I want to also log the ones that are not the ones that I spawned. So I want to be able to know whenever any non-spawned officers get added to the pursuers here. So list of police officers, or maybe integer num non-spawned equals 0, and then if officer that needs to be outside of the for each loop. If officer no if ambush cops does not contain officer, then it means that it's a non-spawned cop that's targeting the player currently. And I'll log the value. So that's gonna give me enough information to be able to patch the bug. Or it's not even a bug, it's just like quality of the mission that gets improved. So this one. So that the roaming cops that try to target the player, if they appear in the northern waterfront, they will also be targeting the player actively. And then the cartel friends will target the cops that try to pursue the player. Test it again. And then after this is done, I'm gonna move into this one. And then I'm pretty much done for the update then. Then it's just like testing all of the stuff, making sure that everything works, I don't find any more bugs. And hopefully by the end of the day I'll have the update done and dusted. I still have to write the change log and stuff like that, so it's gonna take a couple of hours. And then yeah, after this one, it's been 2 hours. Surely I can code for a little bit longer. I might need to get some coffee though. I'm hungry as fuck. I'm hungry as fuck. So I think maybe after testing this one, I'll take a break. I'll take like a 1 or 2 hours break. I'll eat, drink some coffee, and then I'll continue. But now it's time to test the theory. So let move speed 5. Start. No. Cartel Enforcer. Start. True Brothers. So since I don't have anything spawned yet, I should be safe to do it like this. So I can just run up to basically any cop. For example here. Well, that didn't work though. So I'll test it like this. If the number still goes up here, so I'm going to see if the log is showing the number 3. But currently I'm seeing 0 pursuers throughout, so that's a problem. Yep, it still shows 3. They drove over my brother. Yeah. I'm not seeing any pursuers here, so that's the problem now. Like, even though I'm logging it here, in the min pass function, so the crime data does not track it like I expected it to. Am I doing something wrong here? Why does this show 0? So I guess I'll ensure that within the source code. I think it's in the food pursuit. Begin food pursuit. Maybe a pursuit behavior has something for it. So pursuers. No. Interesting. It doesn't have it. So yeah, interesting. Because this seems to be unused entirely by the source code. These pursuers, and this is basically the only thing that I could have used to solve my problem. So that's sad. So those are done. And then I'll notate here, because this still needs to be fixed. I think it's a quality of the mission change that needs to be addressed before I put out the update. Riled Up Riley in the chat says, "XO with sauce, I don't see any bugs. I think you can release it now." I mean, although you don't see any bugs, it doesn't mean that there aren't any bugs. There are bugs that are yet to be found. So there's always bugs. And before I can release, there's a certain number of things that I always do before releasing. So here's how it goes basically. Generally for all updates, it goes like this. Write code, test code, and this needs to happen in both IL2 CPP backends and mono. Currently, I am testing the IL2 CPP version, and we're basically already past this point. And then after all that's done, I need to upload the code to GitHub, right? And then in there, I write the change log. So every single piece of code that gets changed needs to be documented thoroughly, so that it's obvious what got changed, how it got changed, why it got changed, you know, that kind of stuff. So there's no like questioning whether, you know, an update is necessary or not. It's always needs to be documented. Then after the change log, usually, if there are major changes or new features, update the README file. So the README file has to cover everything. So I have to basically write the README file to include the new quest and then information about the quest. So after that's done, we're still not there yet. after that's done, the commit needs to be signed because I'm using vigilant mode. So that takes about 5 minutes for me. And then push the commit. And then after that, the code is available. But still, I don't have anything released yet, right? I don't have anything for release yet. So I need to go into Visual Studio, build both DLL files. So that means I need the IL2CPP and mono versions in release configuration, and that omits all of the logging that's unnecessary. Then when I have both of the DLL files, I need to open up PowerShell, and then I calculate SHA-512 file hash, and this is for integrity. So the end users can choose to verify the integrity of the mod. So is the file same file as the file that I built? Has the file changed since I uploaded it? So this is necessary. They can check the file hash. If it doesn't match, the file has changed after I have built it, and that means they should never use the mod if the file hash does not match. Some people don't do it, some people might do it. I don't really care, but the integrity must be there. The end user must be able to confirm that the file has good integrity. And after that is done, two things must happen. GitHub releases, so upload the updated mod file into releases, and this includes writing the file hash, you know, update any config files, you know, related to it. And then after that's done, I usually go and update Thunderstore, update for both mod pages. So IL2CPP and mono, both. So as you can see, we are basically past this point. And, yeah, we are basically past this point, writing the code, testing the code, and then because CI/CD there is no pipeline for me. I do all of this manually. But for now, I think it's time for me to take a break. I need to eat some food, drink some coffee, and then I'll be back and I'll address some of these problems. And then hopefully by the end of the day, I will have an update released on GitHub and on Thunderstore. But for now, I will take a break and I will be back later. So it's gonna be a couple of hours.